This is my review for the VJ XTRM, designed for the hardest of terrains, the toughest conditions, and made of the most durable materials that exist, apparently. I've had them about 3 months, and I've run maybe between 100 and 150 miles off-road, mainly in the Welsh mountains. There's not much padding around the heel, but I've found they're still comfy, and my heel never slipped, even in deep mud. The only thing I'd add is that the back of the heel is pretty high and probably might rub on some people. The rest of the shoe held on to my foot pretty well, although so do other trainers even without the footlock gimmick. And on both of them, they're just falling apart here. So, I mean, I don't know if that's going to make any difference in the long run, but, you know, the stitching's coming undone. The tongue, as you can see, I mean, why you'd get wear on the tongue, I don't know, but it's got a bit of wear there. You can also see it on this one. I mean, these holes in there were actually supposed to be there, but you've got all lots of wear along here as well. Otherwise, the tongue was quite comfy, even though it's really thin, probably because it's got these flat laces in. However, these laces are absolutely awful. If you don't double knot them, they will just come undone within 5 minutes, really. Which is a bit stingy considering they cost over 100 quid. Where it's bending, you can see it's only just starting to go here, only just. It's holding up pretty well at the creases. Here it's starting to go as well. The sides, so on this side, it started to come away. Got a big split there. That's just going to end up getting worse, I guess. I'm not sure it'll go through here and then the whole thing will be useless. You can feel the water coming in there very easily. Okay, the stud depth. So I've been wearing them for about, like I say, 150 miles most, and nothing on the roads at all. I can't run on the roads. And these studs start off at 6 mil. The longest ones we got on here, so now these back ones here, which are about 5 mil. The rest are between 4 mil for these ones and 3 mil for things like here and on the side, I guess. So, you know, quite a bit of wear really over just, well, what is potentially a quarter of their life. And the grip itself, the rubber itself, is quite nice. It's very sticky. You can feel it, it's very sticky. But I don't think that these are constructed very well. On this one, you can see here, this stud, don't know if you can see it, it's actually been pushed in, I guess where it's hit a rock or something, and it's actually it's split along here and it's just been pushed right in. What else have we got? We've got another stud which is coming off. They really shouldn't be doing that. So you can see how kind of badly that is, how thin it is. What else? I think there's another one coming off somewhere. Here, another loose one. Yeah, the only thing I'm not sure about is the design of these things. As you can see, the lugs on the bottom, they are pretty much facing one direction. So you've got a slant. It's deep on the back, and it slants down to the front. And what is that for exactly? I mean, why have the slant? because if you're running downhill on mud, for instance, you can need a lot of braking force if you need to change directions or just, stop or slow down or whatever. There's a lot of force, so to have it slanted this way is going to mean that it's more likely to slip, surely. So I don't know why they decided it like that. Well, if you got this far and you're still thinking of buying some, then I'll tell you how well they performed. This was level grass and it was completely saturated underneath, and if you kept to the steady speed you'd probably slip about 30% of the time. If you tried accelerating, stopping or anything, you'd probably slip immediately, but not so much you'd fall over. Where it got a bit muddier, we had similar kind of issues, maybe slightly worse. This was a slope, so it wasn't too bad as far as the wetness of the mud went, but it still got a lot of slippage pretty much every single step. So you lose a lot of power going up there. This was a mix of thick mud and puddles. On the puddles it tended to grip okay because she would go straight down to the bottom and grip onto something a bit firmer, but any of the mud, because it's so thick, you just slide. When it comes to firm gravel or mixed rock gravel, there's not really enough cushioning in these shoes to want to stay on there too long. Mixed wet, loose gravel is pretty okay if you pick where you put your feet. It's a similar story with roots and rocks along the flat. Just got to watch where you put your feet. Any big roots, well, you might probably slide off. Same with any large rocks if they're wet and not pointy enough. I'm just using my phone for this, so I'm not going to be running and filming at the same time. The roots and rocks going uphill too were pretty okay, had a lot of grip. Obviously again watching where I'm stepping, and there didn't seem to be much of a problem with the needles on the ground either. These rocks were damp and a bit green with algae, and you'd definitely slip on them. It gripped fine here because the mud was only fairly shallow and it had a hard grit layer underneath. But anything slightly deeper, if it's thick mud, you'll just slide like that before you get any grip. So my personal opinion of these shoes is that as an all-rounder they don't really hit many of the marks. It'd be better to get something with bigger lugs for the mud, and it's maybe just road shoes for the trails. I mean, they'd be much more comfortable. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend these. Could have been just a duff pair, but I doubt it somehow. Just the construction of them and everything, I think too thin on the rubber, and yeah, just not so good.